All right, joining us now is Greg Biffle. He drives the number 16 3M American Red Cross Ford for Roush Fenway Racing. And while Greg is our current NASCAR Sprint Cup Series points leader, the points go out the window this weekend. You know what? They go out the window. So, and you're going to be trying to get your first Sprint Cup Sprint All-Star Race victory. So talk about that, how maybe that changes your mentality, if it changes it at all, and what your outlook is racing here tomorrow evening.
Well, I'm really excited about this All-Star race. One, you know, it can take a week off from the pressure of the points. You know, we certainly been a lot of emphasis on that for us as a team. So this is kind of fun. You know, we like this racetrack. I like this racetrack. So, you know, we've run really, really good here. You look back last year, we almost won the 600. We ran good in the All-Star race, and we ran really good here in the fall. So this has been a good racetrack for us. Our mile-and-a-half program is really good. I feel good about my chances tomorrow night in this All-Star race.
We'll take questions now for Greg. We'll start on the front row. We'll go Thomas, then Tom, and then Kenny.
Thomas Pope, Fayetteville Observer. Greg, is the All-Star race, especially down toward the end, more nerve-wracking than a points race, or is it just like any other two-wide restart late in the race?
It's probably more nerve-wracking because of the emphasis and the build-up to this race. So much is put into this race, you know, and so much emphasis. And, I mean, it is $1 million to win. And so a lot of prestige goes with it. So that final restart, you know, you still got the butterflies like always, but, you know, probably less than the 600 race, you know. They're still going for a win, but, you know, a lot is built up about this race. It's so short, you know. So it's you know, your adrenaline is at peak all the time, so.
Go ahead, Tom.
Hey, Greg, Tom Jensen, Speed.com. You just said you feel good about your chances. Do you think you're the favorite going in? And who else do you think among the 4 or 5 guys are going to be there at the end?
Well, you know, everybody's run so good this season. I don't see, to be honest with you, I wish I could say I feel like we're the favorite. I feel like we got a great opportunity. But to look at the 48 car, the 11 car, the 99 car, the 17 car, and all those guys, I mean, I think any one of us can win this thing. You know, the guy that starts in the top 2 rows, the guy that's got the setup right for the last run of the night, seems like that's going to be the guy. And I hope that we're one of them right there. But I would say you throw about 10 numbers in a basket, and every one of us got about equal chance.
Do you agree that the winner's going to come from the final 2 rows?
I think the winner's going to come potentially from the top 3 rows, because if the 2 guys in front of a certain row get racing each other or whatever happens, it opens the door up for that basically that 3rd row. But if you're going to come deeper than that with 10 to go, you know, something maybe more extraordinary is going to happen, you know. But if one guy gets slowed up a little bit sideways, bunches up some cars, a guy makes it 3 wide coming off 2, you know, you can get a run from back a little bit further and get up there. But typically it's probably going to be the top 3, 2 rows, 3 rows, I say.
Greg, Kenny Beck, WXII, NBC, and the Piedmont Triad. A little bit ago, Dale Earnhardt Jr. said that this weekend is one of the only weekends all year where everybody sort of takes the week off for getting their feelings hurt. If something a little dirty or a little sneaky happens at the very end, given the fact that there are no points at stake and there's $1 million at stake, do you agree, and how far are you willing to push it in the whole have at it boys thing on the final restart?
Yeah, I mean, we know there's going to be a little pushing and shoving, a little rubbing and grinding going on for that $1 million on the last lap. Typically, it's hard to get beside that guy, you know, on that last lap, or hard to get to him. So, you know, I mean, that is true. That, but my feelings will be hurt if you cost me from winning that $1 million, you know. So, it's you know. we all are going to do whatever we can. You know, we're not going to intentionally, or at least I'm not going to intentionally wreck somebody, but certainly going to rough them up and try and, you know, maybe get their momentum a little bit or some type of advantage or an edge trying to if it's coming down to the checkered flag there.
Gentleman right here. And then we'll go over to Monty and then Reed.
Greg Doug Kuffner, WCNC TV here in Charlotte. Kind of off the topic, we're doing a little story on just the drivers and the time they get to spend with their families before each race, pre-race festivities on pit road. Can you kind of describe what that's like for you here before each and every race?
Well, it's certainly exciting now. I've got a 10-month-old daughter, so, you know, with her being out on pit road, not every race, but a lot of them, it's kind of a little inspiration when I get ready to buckle in that car. So it's neat to be home in front of, you know, what we call our hometown track and all our friends and family, all the team guys, you know, families get to participate. So that's exciting to spend a couple weeks at home and see all the people that are able to come out for this event. But yeah, it's nice to be in this situation.
Let's go over here to Monty and then Reed and then Sean.
Monty doesn't guess, is it? Greg, when you just think of this race, you know, I've been to a whole bunch of them, and I've seen them spin a roulette wheel. I've seen them have a concert in the middle. I've seen so many different formats. When you think of it, people always compare it to a short track series of heats. But do you think of like a game show, slot machines? And have you ever been, when you were coming up, at a short track that actually had something remotely like this? I'm not talking about A mains and all that, but everybody, 4 segments. Have you ever been in anything at the local level that was a lesser version of this?
Not really. So there's a couple things. I've been involved in about, I guess, every one of those in some level. So on Friday night, after we qualified, they'd bring this wheel out on the front stretch, and you'd spin it to know what the invert is. So that was kind of typical of short track days, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, or whatever it was. And then the other thing I did is I ran some enduro races when I was running street stocks and coming up, and they were 300-lap enduro races. So we'd run kind of like what Tony recommended a couple of weeks back, or last week, or 2 weeks back. We'd run 100 laps one direction on the track. We'd run 100 laps the other direction, and the track had a half mile and a quarter mile. And then we'd run 100 laps one way on the quarter mile and 100 laps the other way on the quarter mile to finish. So that was a lot of fun.
That's probably where Tony got that at.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he
it's
probably
fun.
went to Portland Speedway in 1980, whatever it was, or 90,
Yeah.
92, or whatever it was. So, you know, those are fun races. Those are kind of like the Lemons races or whatever they run around here. We just take an old beater car and go out and have a little fun. But so nothing quite like this format.
Reed's got one in the queue. Sean, Tom, Jeff, and Chuck.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wear Service. Greg, as important as track position is going to be for that final 10-lap segment, on that final pit stop, do you expect anybody to actually take tires for that, or do you think it's mostly going to be gas and go, or the guys in the back may take tires, assuming that everybody else is going to take gas up front?
Yeah, so you're exactly right. I mean, there's no mystery to what's going to happen. Track position's what's going to win the race. And, you know, we'll see how this track, see what this track thinks of new tires. You know, so as the track ages, as the tires maybe a little bit different, maybe the, same tire, but maybe it acts a little different on the racetrack. So after 20 laps, we'll see how important a new tire is. You know, maybe it doesn't really matter that much. So we'll have some practice and a little bit of that race to figure that out. But, you got to be at the front at the end. You're not going to win from the 4th or 5th row, 6th row, just because you have new tires, I don't think. Anything can happen, but it's going to be track position, and maybe it's 2 tires, maybe it's no tires.